Hello, dear viewers, and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Today I'm going to be sharing a little bit of my spiritual awakening story. I just kind of felt guided to do that at this point. Not sure why, but divine inspiration is a weird thing. So I'm going to be doing something a little bit more open, what comes to mind. First of all, hello. If you're new to this channel, thank you for being here. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It does help this channel out, and I really do appreciate y'all being here on the spiritual journey. I mean, it's a group effort. It takes a community. It takes a village to raise the children, and trying to raise a more smart children than not. I'm not going to go into that, but yeah. So as far as spiritual awakenings go, when I first started out this journey, I was not really a spiritual person. I was definitely more agnostic. I was open to the idea of spirituality. I wasn't really convinced of it. Some part in the back of my mind, I did believe in reincarnation, but because I had been raised in the Christian faith, it wasn't really accepted or ingrained into me. And so during the pandemic, I had some alone time, not because I was necessarily out of work, but work was a little bit hectic and chaotic. And I think I needed something to lean into and to be able to find a sense of grounding. And oddly enough, I didn't find it in spirituality. I found it in psychology. I was trying to figure out, why are all these people doing these weird things? What's going on out there? Like, I wanted to have this sense of peace in mind because I felt a lot of compassion towards everyone. Like, it's not everyone's fault that when times get tough, people kind of either come together, fall apart, or in the extreme cases of what we see throughout history, there's the mob mentality of everybody attacking each other and not knowing who to really trust or rely on. And I couldn't really bring myself to be like either team, like this or that. It's like, oh, we all are going through a lot. How can I kind of dive into my own kind of hyperfixation? Because I really do like learning about how people work, what makes them tick, from an angle of compassion, healing, and somewhat self worth. Because whatever I learned about the community, I'm like, well, I can take that and apply it to my life. So I was already starting out with this philosophy of, we're all equal, we all go through hard times. But I wasn't like deep into spirituality. No, that really happened kind of suddenly. And it was almost like, I don't know how to describe it. I was at a point in my life where it seemed like everything was figured out or figured out for me, but I didn't really know that it, not necessarily my plans, it was someone else's plans made for me, and I adopted them as my own. Where I was working, what I was doing, what I accepted in my life from people, from the world, and just seeing everything happen out there and getting a sense of self. I was kind of not really understanding how far gone I was from my soul in a weird way. And the moment that I would say I had this come to Jesus moment, or I woke up, it was a really weird occurrence. I was just going about my daily life, and this cosmic spiritual entity reached out to me, and it was really weird. And I brushed it off like, okay, so I'm really tired. I'm stressed because I was working, and everybody's like in this state of chaos, and I was kind of a little bit being affected by that, which we all were. Even if I do define myself as more highly sensitive, I was still very much affected as much as everybody else. And I wouldn't have even said even more so, but then it's just all of a sudden one thing led to another. It was this moment where something or someone, call it a spiritual entity, call it an angel, kind of reached out to me and was like, come back to me. And it was really surreal for me because it reminded me when I was younger and in church and in youth groups. There was this desire to help others and to be of service, you know, not just for my brothers and sisters here on this world. It's something greater for me. And I got a lot of joy from it. And I think I was respected, but then I attached my worth to it. And the people in my life were not necessarily aligned or gracious, or, they didn't have to be for me to do it. But something inside of me just kind of woke up. I wasn't doing what it is I necessarily wanted to do. And it brought me more grief than joy because of a certain imbalance. And I had not been really talking to God much or investigating into these things for so many years. And so when I had that vision, like I dove deeper into psychology, like what's going on with me. And then I had this moment where, like, every single time I would find a piece of myself that, like, recovering memories from even my own childhood, or seeing something happening outside of me, everything fell away. Like all of a sudden, everything was turning for the worst. And knowing what I know now, like the context of, the tower moment, the cataclysm that happens around you when things that aren't meant for you fall away, and you are kind of forced by your own soul, the path of the universe, to change or keep things the same until it gets so bad that you can't do anything but just kind of fix it. And I fought against my soul and these kind of moments where everything was falling apart for so long until it got to the point where I couldn't ignore it anymore. And it was this weird awakening for me to get to a point where I needed to admit that I needed some sort of higher power to help me in the world around me as it kind of just fell apart. And I didn't know anything at the time about manifestation. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I didn't do research. I was more on different types of websites. I wasn't going into like YouTube to look for spiritual stuff. I'm like, okay, how do we heal from childhood trauma? How, like, what did I experience something and forgot? It's like, I was doing that. I wasn't like, oh, what was I in another incarnation? It's like, oh, yeah, I was from another planet in another incarnation. That wasn't even crossing my mind. And this was in 2021. It's like, okay, God, I have a rude awakening. I have zero context for what's happening. What do I do? So I went in blind. I went in extremely skeptic. And I went in like, I need to diagnose what's wrong with me. Because I didn't want to go into this thinking that I was, you don't want to lose your mind that much. And it kind of is weird because when everything falls apart, you feel that at first. And if that's something you are personally going through right now, first of all, I just want to say my heart goes out to you. You're not alone. If you need spiritual guidance, yes, reach out to anyone you feel comfortable with. If you need emotional help and guidance, I think you need to do that alongside getting spiritual help, because it's just a very tricky line to walk. But I'm also here too. I'm also here. Like, I hope these stories do help you. So just let that be known. So basically, what happened is slowly over the next few years, between 2021 and 2022 and 3, I, out of nowhere, just started waking up to past life memories. I was reliving things I had been through in other lives with a little bit more context given the grief I was going through, because I was unpacking things that happened in this life, which inadvertently triggered memories from other lives. And that's the interesting thing about, when we look at trauma and trauma work on planet Earth with human beings, it's like there will be certain things that remind us. They don't necessarily give us flashes, but we feel it. Our soul carries that pain. The body keeps score, whatever. It's, you just hold on to it. But little do we know, especially as a species right now, the soul holds on to it as well. And the whole karmic baggage, reliving the past, you could be triggered by something that happened in another life, in this life, and not realize you are, because it's something that happens so deep within your subconscious. And so when I was trying to dive into that part of my past life, dive into spirituality, I at first didn't even consider there might be a link between previous incarnation, current incarnation, um, reliving trauma and trauma relief. It acts in the same way. It really didn't matter which life I lived. where that wound came up. I would be still doing the same work. So, like I said, none of this was really something I ever knew about. I didn't have much guidance. I was learning on my own. It was like a beginner's mindset. So, I really did have to self teach, which in a very weird but also poetic way, God knew that that is how I learn. So I didn't need a mentor. I didn't need a group of people. I didn't necessarily need a community. I sought those out, but most of it was on my own. And that's not for everyone. If you're the type of person who needs a group of people to learn, or needs a mentor, or just someone behind a screen sharing their experience, that is absolutely valid. We don't learn everything in this world the same way, right? So the more you know, the more you're able to get some sense of peace and find balance wherever you are in your spiritual journey. But for me, waking up was really the hardest part. But let me just say, it's not any easier moving on until you get to a point where you find peace with the clarity you gain, and learn to find that there's more to life too than the struggles you went through and the pain you faced. And I think that's the part of spirituality that doesn't always get addressed and sometimes is missed, is that sometimes it's just fake it till you make it. There's no roadmap. It is a personal experience. Your soul is the thumbprint of a universe that has so many limbs, so many lights, so many eyes and ears. And it's like whatever feels more important to you as far as healing goes, whatever feels more important to you in this life is valid and unique to you. Not everybody's experiences are going to relate to you. And there had been times in my journey in spiritual awakening where I was remembering past lives, where I was choosing to awaken gifts because I was manifesting things before I even understood what I was doing, which was, on top of trying to break free from a cycle of, let's just say, karma in this life and past lives. I was choosing to awaken my spiritual gifts. That was a choice I made because I thought it would bring me more peace. And then I just realized, well, this has been a difficult journey. It's like, oh, you want to be super hyper aware of everything and you want to see the future, you want to help people. It's like, yeah, I want to help people. It's like, okay, you got it. And it's like, oh. And it's like, I thought being psychic would help. I thought predicting the future would help, but sometimes it doesn't. But it depends on how you look at it, because it's like, this is just for me. It's not necessarily for you. I share this with you, the viewers. I share this with other people because it's part of who I am and what I want. I aspire to be someone who helps others. Like, some part of me is still that little church girl who wants to do acts of service to make a difference in the community. Because, when my neighbor suffers, I do too. And not even just on a metaphysical level, it's when we're all happy. Life is a better place to be. This planet is better when we're all happy. And I just had that desire in me. And whether I was choosing to do it for you or not doesn't matter. For now, I'm choosing to do this because it's what I want to do, what brings me a lot of joy and peace. And, maybe you relate to that, maybe you don't. But at the end of the day, it is up to you. Are you doing the spiritual journey for you? Are you doing the inner work for you? And that was the piece of the puzzle that really did kind of wreck everything I knew from a past life and this life, because part of the karmic baggage that I had was doing things for other people and not necessarily for me. And that's exactly why I had this spiritual awakening in the first place. I was on a one-way track to repeating my history of, I'm doing this because I was told to. I'm working this job and living this lifestyle because it was ingrained in me. It's what I should want. It's what I should do. But I had other aspirations. And I had the support of the universe and I had the time to be able to do that. But I was not really desiring to do anything for anyone else than everyone outside of me. It was everyone else needed to approve of me, of my life. And that's what woke me up is something that was needing to change, not be fixed, but be recognized. So I found my success in life, in the spiritual journey, or just in general, everyday life, when I chose to do things for me, for what I desire. And it might be considered selfish, but I'm not the only one who benefits from healing myself because that's not my ultimate purpose on this earth. It's not to be one thing, it's to be all that I can be and make life the best I can. And we can get all wrapped up in this idea of like psychology of the self, like, am I selfish? Am I doing things for me? Am I doing it for you? It's like, does it matter? Does it matter? No, it really doesn't. Because at the end of the day, we're all still working together. And so I'm probably going to make several different um, videos talking about my story. I think this was kind of a flow of thought thing, and I do really hope I can get to talking about this more. I feel like I needed to say this, especially since starting my channel, I wanted to incorporate most of my own per- per- perception of the spiritual journey, of what I've been through personally through my life, what it takes. If that is helpful for you, if it's not, that's okay. I'm doing this because it feels right, and I really hope that whatever part of your journey you are in, or wherever you are in life, you can take that piece of advice with you too. It doesn't matter really in the end what you say or do for you or for others. You do it because it is right. You do it because it is what your soul wants. You do it because it's just something inside of you. And I know that sounds vague, and I'm sure it is. It might resonate with some of you, but the biggest lesson I really had to learn, even before waking up, is choosing, just making a choice and sitting with it and living with it and not needing anybody's approval for that choice. And that's not an easy decision to make, to give yourself permission to make a choice, not when we're all programmed by society to go in a certain direction. So I think that's all I really want to say today. Hopefully, I'll get another part up to go more in detail, but I just think I wanted to kind of share this with you. So I hope this has helped. I send all my love to you and catch you in another video.